Osgood Perkins, director of Longlegs and this year's The Monkey, is back with a new film, Keeper, his second film for 2025, making everyone feel like they're not doing enough with their life. Or is that just me? Osgood has directed a bunch of stuff, but I've only seen and I only became aware of him with Longlegs, a film that I loved, and then he followed that up with The Monkey, a film I thought I'd love, but didn't really vibe with. Both films have been pretty divisive, particularly Longlegs, and now having seen his newest film Keeper, I feel this trend will continue. If you love him, you'll be like, yes, he's done it again. If you hate him, you'll be like, classic, he's done it again. Keeper follows a couple who decide to go full horror cliche and stay at a cabin in the woods. Needless to say, they are not in for a fun time. So I'm going to keep it incredibly vague in terms of the actual plot and the story and all of the twists and turns and reveals and revelations because I knew almost nothing going into this film. I'll also be incredibly lazy with the footage in this video to avoid any spoilers. But I do think I have to mildly mention the actual genre. It's less The Strangers and more David Lynch. Sorry, you might not understand what I mean by that. What I mean is more like surreal David Lynch. Spooky weird strangeness is afoot, and it's delivered more in the tone and atmosphere of Longlegs than The Monkey's dark humor style. This film isn't humorless, but it's very much going for a surreal, sickening experience, and less of a Monkey See Final Destination, Monkey Do Final Destination vibe. But don't get mistaken, this is nothing like Longlegs. I really respect Perkins for making 3 of the most unique, wholly separate and different horror films you could possibly imagine in the last couple of years. If you didn't know who directed these films, you could be forgiven for not knowing they are the same guy. Robert Eggers, this is not. The main thing that connects these films is that Perkins once again displays an absolute mastery of the craft of building dread and tension and creating a sickening, disturbing atmosphere that is claustrophobic and nauseating. I was disgustingly tense for the entire runtime. Longlegs really got me in the same way, feeling absolutely trapped in the cinema, fearful for what could be lurking in the corners of the frame. I love how this guy frames his pictures. I love how he creates suspense and tension. I just love how he loves to wallow in the mood and atmosphere that he creates, which is always so upsetting. But I do expect some people will find this film meandering, boring, and overly slow and drawn out, because it is not a fast-paced spook-a-minute film. It takes its time, and there is very little to the story in terms of actual plot. It's all vibes all day. And if you don't lock into this vibe, I do think this could bounce right off of you and bore you senseless. I personally was utterly gripped in the fear of the unknown, and the mystery did keep me hooked, even if it really is just a simple question of, what the fuck? I honestly would probably fear a rewatch could lose all of its power. But hey, not every film needs to be rewatched until your VHS has worn out. God, even just saying the word VHS makes me feel so very old. This film plays with the surreal and dreamlike filmmaking. There's some really experimental stuff that's equally visually stunning and disturbing. The way the house is framed is fantastic, always finding new and exciting ways to keep the house feeling awful. The imagery on display is very interesting and strange, and the third act gives us some of the most upsettingly perverse and horrific visuals and designs I've seen in a long time. Some truly disturbing stuff that will haunt my dreams. Get your comfort show sitcom on standby, because you're going to need that to chaser this film. Honestly, the visuals in the third act completely overwhelmed the critical part of my brain that absolutely hated a certain reveal. Not for the reveal itself, but for the clumsy execution. Also, maybe it makes no sense. But I don't mind, because this film is filled to the brim with nightmarish stuff. I was legitimately freaked out a bunch of times in this film, which honestly doesn't happen that much, and that's because I'm super brave. Or is it just that I mostly always feel nothing? Who's to say? There's two really rude jump scares in this that I feel are not cheap, but deeply effective due to the absolutely disgusting amount of tension the film was built up before those horrific releases that, they upset me so very much. It's very much a cinema film. The way it's paced and structured and the lack of much dialogue and plot could defs get cooked at home by your ability just to whip out your phone and start scrolling. I think the main thing that really keeps me from loving it more is whilst I did love the mood and atmosphere, because it mostly is just mood and atmosphere, it does feel a little light on story and it's a little generic and cliche in moments, and there's a few things in the third act that I feel are strangely, for a film that's so slow, rushed, and they don't make much sense and are executed in a strange way that I felt could have been tidied up in the script stage. But it's a film more concerned with vibes than logic. And honestly, sometimes logic isn't as important compared to how it makes you feel emotionally. And this film made me feel sick to my bones. But also, maybe on the drive home, I was like, wait, what? As I said, this film is going to be divisive. I'm honestly still chewing on it, so who knows how I'm going to wake up tomorrow feeling. That is, of course, if I ever sleep again. Oh, also, Tatiana, she's like the lead actress in this. She is sensational. So if you're unsure if a surreal, vibesy film is your jam, but love her, it's probs worth seeing just for her. She's amazing. Or just rewatch Orphan Black. That's probably a pretty good option too. If you want a more straightforward story or a more plot-driven story, this probs won't vibe with you at all. But if you're like me and you lock into the vibe it's cooking, it's one disgustingly good meal. But that meal is all style and no substance. Well, there's a little bit of substance, I suppose, but it's not particularly fulfilling or fresh or unique in its themes and ideas. A bit of a trashy yet flashy fast food burger in regards to its themes. Hollow in hindsight, yet tasty during the chow. Overall, if you love Osgood Perkins, you will love this. Or you'll hate it. Who's to say? Honestly, he's a fascinating mixed bag. You never know if you're gonna get a crunchy or a Twix. Which is the good one and which is the bad one? I have no dog in this fight as I hate all chocolate. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and comment below. I would love to know what's your preference for chocolate. Oh, and also I guess what you thought about the film too. But honestly, I'm mostly curious about the chocolate thing. Okay, so very briefest of spoilers. Spoilers. So like the whole thing is it's like a witch, like demon, something or other thingy, monster creature thing. I don't really know what it was. It's super weird and vague, but I just wanted to talk about, like, they are legit the best creature designs I've seen in so long. Just so upsetting and fucked and just so cool and interesting and unique and weird and freaky and just, honestly, that saved the entire film for me. It's so scary and strange. I hated it and I loved it. Amazing stuff. Osgood, you fucking freak. I love you. But please don't ever do that again. Horrible stuff.